Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of trading with F45 Trade Signals. We are going to do a quick market review for the week of April 16th to the 20th and pick out a couple of levels that I think could potentially get hit coming up on the week here and just discuss a little bit about last week. It was an excellent week last week, and we're hoping to continue that into this week. So we'll just start with the dollar index, and we're going to get fired away right away here. Again, don't want to take very long. There's just actually a couple of pairs I want to discuss today, but I'm not going to get too into it because uh, right now you can see this consolidation that the U.S. dollar is in right in the middle of this thing. If I take a fib off of these levels, and I'm just going to take it just off of some random levels here. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can see what I'm driving at here. We're sitting right at that 50% level. So from here, price could ultimately higher or lower, and it would be justified on either side as to fulfilling a technical range that it would need to do. But last week it drove down nicely, hit a key level. This small consolidation rate in here, it hit that level, has rejected so far, and just sort of trading softer so far into early Monday trading. And it just is, as the time of this recording, let it open now for Monday morning. So April 16th. So it's just starting, and we're starting out a little bit weaker. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we came back down. And I'll just zoom in here just a little bit. You can kind of see this area that I have marked out here. I wouldn't be surprised if they came down and just sort of swept the lows that are right in here. Rebalanced again off of the highs of this small consolidation. You see how price spent a lot of time right in this area here. And I'll just draw a block around there, just to identify it a little bit better. Price had come down, spent a lot of time right in here, and traded off subsequently. And they could come down just, again, sweep this one low right here. I'd be looking for a bounce off of this level and potentially trading up higher. And I'd like to see them run this old high up here. If they break this low down here, there's a very good chance they'll go even lower. And we'll say 89. About 89.20 would be sort of the line in the sand. If they want to go lower than that, and when I say they go lower, they want to close lower. If you start seeing candles close lower than here, then they're probably going to want to run for the lows of this area here, and in which case these old highs in this small consolidation area back in here could get challenged from the end of March. So we'll watch this area very closely this week. I wouldn't be surprised again if they ran it down for the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, ran it down into here, and then I'd be looking for some sort of rejection. But if it starts to close down here, then we'll be falling even lower than that. And again, on the higher end, I'm not necessarily bullish the U.S. dollar until we actually get into a range that makes sense, but it's just going to consolidate. So we got to trade accordingly, but I would be expecting a push higher just to clean some of these up. Now, you see this old high right here on this feed here. It has it come in and had taken the highs over in here. This is just necessarily this brokering doesn't always reflect on all the other platforms out there. So a lot of them that I have seen have not taken this high. So this area up in here is still very much a valid target. I think that they're going to want to eventually drive price. So we'll just have to watch and see. But right now, there's really not much going on in the U.S. dollar, sitting right in the middle of this consolidation range. When it starts to get out towards the outer edges here and the higher edges up here, you could certainly look at continuation back down lower and back up higher once it gets to the outer edges. And until they want to convincingly break this consolidation level here, there's really no other way to trade this other than in a consolidation pattern. So you sell the lows and you buy the. I'm sorry, I've said that wrong. You sell the highs and you buy the lows, and that's how you trade in a consolidation period. Right now, on this 50% level right here, right in the middle of the range, there's nothing to do. You just wait and watch for price to develop, and when it starts to trade into the uppermost and lowermost regions, that's when you start to enter your trades, but you don't do anything in the middle here just because it could go either way, and you'd never know which way it was going to go. So with that being said, I was going to talk about the euro, but it's very, very much similar to this, so there's no point in talking about that right now until something develops there a little bit further. I'll go into the pound dollar because this has seen some movement. You can see the old highs, the small swing high. I'll zoom in here a little bit. This swing high was taken out, and that was actually a previous failure swing. So they brought price up once, failed again here, dropped it down, just kind of a short retracement in here, and powered it back up through. I'd be looking for this high up here at 143.45, basically. I'll just make that nice and even there. I'd be looking at for a target for this week for them to swing up and to grab that. And I mean, if they want to have any willingness to continue higher than that, then we'll again, this would be the ultimate goal that I'm looking for. But until we get there, obviously we got to pick short-term highs, and that would be the first one right there. I wouldn't mind seeing them come and dip back down one more time before they ran there. But you can see here they just done a great job last week. This is last week's trading of just pushing price. They never came back once. They had a small little dip here. Relatively equal lows as well too on the daily. I'm just going to mark that out on the chart here. Typically what they do with equal lows is they come back and run them and just to grab the stops, and then they'll run higher. So we'll watch that. That is a little ways away though. Let me just pull a line on that. That's about 120 pips. So price on Monday, Tuesday's trading would have to significantly start breaking out of the gate lower. But I would be looking, if they ever did want to come back down here, I would be looking for a bounce rejection and then a continuation higher. And as I say, the highs up there would be targeted. Now, the other scenario they could do, they could run it right out of the gate higher, which would be about 100 pips, little under 100 pips to capture those highs, and then potentially come a trade weaker towards the end of the week. So we'll have to wait and see how the week wants to start out. But so far it's showing some fairly bullish price action. It's run about 30 pips up higher here to start the week out. So I've got a level right here. I want to see if price has any willingness to go higher than this. 142, we call it 142.70. Just for a round number. If I don't see price breaking this high in here, then I'll expect them to trade lower. And again, I'd like to see them scoop these double lows back in here, but just a run underneath here would be pretty much sufficient as well too. You'd have to watch what price wants to do. If it starts trading lower than 142. Well, you could call it 142 even. If price starts to close lower than 142 even, then chances are a very good possibility of them running these equal lows. Just put a little X under here so you can see where I'm driving at. Right here, basically, these equal lows right under here is what I'm looking for them to capture. Again, they don't need to do that. The pound dollar has been showing some amazing strength, and it has definitely buck the trend, so it usually trades in tandem. A mirror image of what the U.S. dollar does, and it definitely has not been doing anything with doesn't want to have anything to do with what the U.S. dollar has been doing. They've been manipulating this higher, and it actually comes in tandem with the Euro GBP. You can see the weakness on the Euro GBP. Weakness on this pair, on the Euro GBP, will show strength in the pound dollar. So just keep that in mind. And there's a long way to go still on Euro GBP. They've got they broke the lows here. It was trading this huge consolidation. Finally broke out of that, and there's a lot of room. You see this old line down here at 0.8500. That could be their targets. Now it's not going to be a straight shot down there, of course. I wouldn't expect it to be, but if they do continue their weakness on this and bearish activity on the Euro GBP, then we should see strength in pound dollar. And again, these old highs here from Brexit would be where I'd be looking for if they have that continued weakness on that other pair. So we'll be watching for that to transpire. But again, the start of the week, I want to see if price fails here. If it doesn't want to go through this, then I'm going to expect them to come swing back down to 142. And if they break 142, then we'll look at these lows here getting run, and those lows are coming in at 141. You could even call it 140 big figure. That's sort of where I'd be looking them to take it, and then we'd wait to see price reject. If they start to reject, then again, this is going to be the target here. So we'll wait and see. Don't know yet until the week, or until London starts to open up a little bit more. But if they keep continuing higher, then I'll expect them to run this high out here first of the week, and then we'll look for lower prices towards the rest of the week. Moving on, going to discuss oil. Oil, same type of thing as the pound dollar. Tons of strength in this pair. Haven't wanted to short this because it's just been I mean, obviously with all of the stuff going on in the Middle East and everything like that, they are artificially pumping it up. Hit a new high, though, this last week here on Friday. Hasn't seen these highs since January of 2018, took those out, and then since then we haven't been this high since way back over in here in 2014. So I'm hoping to see continued further movement higher on the on oil, and I've been saying bullish on oil all the way back since the end of 2017. I've been calling bullish price action on it, and you can see that has panned out nicely. So I'm going to continue my bullish stance on this, especially with all the turmoil going on in the Middle East. You know, it's just a recipe to manipulate this thing higher. But what would be great to see this week is if they did take it lower, and I'll just get rid of some of the stuff back in here, no longer relevant. Um, you see how they really chopped price sideways towards the end of last week there. So they made these highs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's trading, and then Thursday and Friday was just straight chop, and then they ran the highs one more time right here. What I'm going to expect is them to bring price back down, and I'd want to see if they want to trade back up to the bottom of kind of the lower area of this consolidation range and then reject. And I'd actually be looking for them to come back down to this area in here. So I'm just going to I'll just use this line here since I've got it. But the old highs in here would be a good target for oil to reject back down to. And really the way, I don't know why I just did that. Really the way oil's been trading, it could get down there in a day. I mean, it could be like Monday, Tuesday, crude oil inventory numbers come out Wednesday, the reject, and then start pushing higher. But I am looking for softer prices to come down. They had a big bullish week. They usually like to come back down and grab some of the stops under some of the most obvious locations here, maybe even here. I don't think they're going to come that deep, but we're going to watch for that. So it's already started off quite soft to open up. I'm going to expect this to continue, and then eventually, if we do see a bounce sometime this week, then we'll watch for these prices up here to get run. So that's kind of what I'm looking at to unfold in. And what was the high on this? Was the high on the candle? That was 67.71. So just mark that out here, which was the high, just so you guys know. Whoops, 71. So that was the high. So love to see them run this high again this week, but I definitely want to see them trade softer and lower first before it goes back up there, and then we'll be looking to get long on this pair, on this commodity going forward later in the week. Orange juice was another one I wanted to talk about. I was talking about it for a while there. You see this big run down in here? Just a nice bearish movement down. We've since started to base, and I think this is a real area of support right in here. It actually dipped a bit lower. I was kind of calling that 135.90 level as a potential area where I'd like to see it reverse. It went a little bit lower, and it kind of faked me out right here, I'll be honest with you. Traded higher and then came right back down, and I'll be honest with you, I missed this. I wasn't watching this pair. It had traded away, and I kind of lost interest in it. Came back down and dipped back down in here one more time, and then has seen some nice bullish just rejection and just very quickly movement away from this area. So I think they're going to start taking orange juice higher. Seasonally, it does also tend to run in this this time frame of the year. So I don't necessarily want to buy it right here, but not to say that I wouldn't be looking to buy the dip. So if it does come back down slightly one more time, I'll be looking to get long on that. And for all of our members, I will signal you on that and tell you the ideal entry point on it. But I'd be looking for this to run much higher and take out these highs up here eventually. That's sort of the goal for OJ. But again, you know, you think about it, it could be insignificant. You could get in here and say, well, if this is the target, what does it matter if I got in here or got in here? If they ever want to come back and slam it back down here one more time, that's the difference. You definitely want to try and get it at the cheapest price point that you can. So just watch that. Again, I'll be watching that as well too. I'm going to set up an alert, and if price ever does want to trade back down, I don't even be looking for it to trade back down. You see this consolidation area in here where it puts a high and high, another candle high, another high, and then explodes out. I'd be looking for them to see if they want to trade back down to those highs right there, and they could do it right away here, starting at CME Open on Monday. They could just run it back down real quick, tip off of it, and then explode back up. So it could happen very, very quickly, but I will watch for that. Same type of idea with sugar. Looking for price to start basing at this level down in here, 0.1180. That area for me, I've got, this is an alert right here. If price does trade down there, a level that we could potentially see some support at. And just this is based off of a 5-year trend. They've been running this down lower, and this chart here unfortunately doesn't show it, but I will tweet a couple of charts later on that does have the 5-year outlook, so you can kind of see it a little bit better. I am looking for price to potentially gain some support in this level here. We'll have to wait and watch for that to occur. Again, I'm not buying it here. Not interested. If it does trade down here, we're going to watch what it does, and there will be plenty of time to get in this, so you don't have to worry about missing anything. So we'll watch for that. And the last one here, last commodity was gas. Natural gas. I had posted a couple of comments early last week that I was looking at natural gas. We could potentially see a bounce, and you can start to see in here, this obviously was a huge run up earlier on in the year. It's since stabilized, come a bunch lower, and I'd be looking for price right in this area. They came down, failure to go lower under these lows, ran it back up, came back down, and basically just ran the stops very, very quickly and rejected, and haven't come down to take out this low yet. So I'm going to be interested to see what they want to do here on this week. I'm not expecting them to go, to be honest with you, see these highs in here. I'm not expecting them to go any lower than that. Just small consolidation highs in there. I would expect them to come down, tag off of that, and potentially run higher if it does. If it starts to break this low and this low here, then you can pretty much cancel that trade idea, because they may want to, if I could get this, they may want to come down and run this low here. Natural gas has definitely been very, very weak as of late, but we are coming up into the summer, which means everyone, if we have a very, very warm summer, then they will start, everyone's going to turn their air conditioning on, and natural gas prices obviously will start to go up, and we could see that, and it definitely has been hitting some lows in here. So we're going to wait and watch for that to transpire. But and lastly, Bitcoin. For all you Bitcoin traders out there, I was saying it last week, they were running price down, and then they started to base it here, and I said watch out for a pop, because if they do it, they're going to do it quick, they're going to do it fast, and they're going to take all the stops, and that's exactly what they did. You can go from my recording last week there, I said that exact same thing. And so far, this was, what day was that? That was Thursday's trading, Monday, Friday, Thursday's trading. You can see there, just huge push higher. Ran all these stops in here. Everyone going short. They just got taken out, and they didn't stop there. They kept on running. They just gapped. So you can see here, this was Friday's close. They gapped it here for Sunday's trading, and have since gone weaker, but that gap is pretty much filled now. So they could want to take this higher. So just bear that in mind. If you're short Bitcoin, they could want to look to potentially run these highs here. So if these highs get ran, so I got a level here at 88.41. If 88.40 or 8800s basically get run and they start closing higher than 8800, watch for them to start sweeping the highs up here, and even potentially running up into this area in here, which would bring us up to 10,000 essentially. So that could be where they're going. I don't think they're done going low. I just believe that they are, because you see they created some relatively equal lows in here. They did just sweep the low right there just by a couple of points, and then took it higher, but I don't think they're done going low. Personally, I think they're going to take these lows out here, and I think they're just giving the market some false sense of security. Everyone who was long back here and long here, they're just kind of like, oh, great, it's finally going back up. Time to get long again, and I think they're going to drop it down one more time. So just bear that in mind. I don't have anything to call on Bitcoin as of yet, but just keep in mind that they could run it a little bit higher, and then I'd be expecting them to run it lower, but we'll just have to kind of watch for that. I don't really like where it's trading right now. If it does, however, start to scoop up some highs and start to look that it wants to reject, we could be looking at getting some shorts, but I definitely don't want to be selling it here. And I don't want to be buying it either. That's the other thing. If price came back down and cleaned up this area here and retraded back off of these highs in here, and then showed a willingness to want to bounce, then I would maybe look at getting long. But right now, you don't want to be getting long. I mean, look at this. This is clearly a bear trend market. Why would you want to start trading and start? Why would you think that that is the low? You know, is kind of my question. I believe that this is going to continue bearish, and I think we've got much lower prices on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general as well too. I think they're going to keep smashing them down. So those are my thoughts for the week of April 16th to the 20th. And again, for all you members, you will be starting to get signals rolling out of gates probably Monday if everything starts setting up. We'll be watching and into New York, and then definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The one thing I have not talked about was the economic calendar. There's definitely a couple of items on there that I wanted to discuss, but I think for this recording's sake, I think we are pretty much covered everything I want to for the most part. The best ideal trading days, again, I'll just, you know what, hang on, I'll just bring it over real quick, and I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Sorry I went a little bit longer than what I thought. We've got some U.S. news coming out in New York tomorrow, so that's why I say there could be a couple of signals coming out tomorrow for our members with our website. And for Tuesday, a little bit of pound dollar news, so that could be that driving factor that I had mentioned to either take it higher or lower. So we'll be watching that for early London open there on Tuesday. And then into the rest of the week, there's some CAD news on Wednesday. Again, crude oil inventories that I discussed. And pretty good week for trading. Not a ton of high impact news, but just some nice news drivers that should inject some volatility into it. So we should have a fairly good week of trading. I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. And if you haven't yet, please make sure you check us out at f45trading.com. You can jump on there, and we offer 14 days free for all of our members to take use of all of our live trading sessions, our pre-recorded sessions that you're watching right now. There's market signals, there's direct signals to your phone, updates, management, there's a chat room. There's just so many benefits to being with us. Check us out at f45trading.com. You won't be disappointed, and it's free for 14 days. What do you got to lose? Also on Twitter, I post a ton of stuff on Twitter as well too, so make sure you follow us at F45Trading on Twitter, and of course Instagram, Future 45 Trade Signals. So thank you very much if you're watching this thus far, and I hope you have a great week of trading, and we'll catch up to you a little later.